All right, so let's go through the changes that I'm making. So first of all of these cats are going to be in an unordered list, and each one of them will be a list item. Now, how do I make an li for every single one of our cats? I can say ul databind is for each cat list. That'll make an li for each one of the items inside of cat list. And inside of the li, I'm going to add a databind as well. It's going to have text as the name of the cat. If I save this and refresh it in the browser, let's see what happens. And sure enough, we get the list of all of our cats here. Pretty good. Now we've got our cats showing up in a list. All we need to do is make the current cat change when you click on one of them. That second part is a little bit more difficult. We know that we need a click somewhere in here. We don't necessarily know what it will be yet. But we want a click on this list item to somehow wire up to something inside of app.js. Now, like I said, bindings can be a little bit difficult because it's a little bit more difficult to visualize where you are, what your binding context is. I might normally feel inclined to do something like this. On click, set cat, and then in our app.js, down here in the view model, as it turns out, that's not going to work. Here's why. When you click on this, it looks for set cat within this binding context, which is within the cat itself. What we need to do is get up outside of that binding context to the view model. The way we get up out of a binding context is using $.parent. I'm going to save both of these, and I'll put a console.log statement in here just to make sure. If I go back to my browser here and I refresh, sure enough now when I click on this, I get console.logs of hi. Now rather than running console.log, all I have to do is update the current cat. To access the current cat, I'm going to use self.currentCat. Remember, self is referring to the view model, and that is where current cat lives. And what are we going to set it to? Well, if you look in the documentation for click, you'll find that when you click on something and it runs a function, it passes in the object you clicked on, specifically the model we're talking about. So when setCat gets run and the clicked cat model gets passed in, we're going to set the current cat to the clicked cat, to the one we just clicked on. Let's save this and hop back in the browser and see if that works. Now if I click on Shadow, sure enough, it changes. And if I click, you can see that Shadow has his own counter, and Tiger has his own counter, etc. So now we've made the cats show up in a list, we've made the current cat change when you click on one of them. I hope you've given yourself a high five. Although giving yourself a high five is kind of just a clap, so go find someone else and give them a high five. You just built, together with me, a pretty amazing app, and a lot of it was driven by you doing it yourself. Going through the documentation, learning things on your own, and trying things. Seriously good work.